Hi, welcome back. Part 2, episode 7. So yes, we're having a girl. Super excited. Yeah, so we already have a boy, so obviously it's really nice to have one of each. Obviously we'd be happy with no matter what, but we were really hoping to have one of each, so we're thrilled, thrilled, thrilled. And of course, everything's going well, healthy, measuring the way it's supposed to, and all that good stuff that they look for that I really don't know anything about, but yeah, all good. So, on to the parents' Christmas presents. So, Mom, you shouldn't be watching at this point. Um, so, my mom's blanket is done, except apparently I still have a few more ends to weave in. So, I'm pulling this out and looking at it. I was weaving in ends at a coffee shop, and it's hard when you weave in ends at a coffee shop to actually see the entire thing and not get completely strange looks when you pull out a blanket to have with your coffee. I'm trying to show you as much of this as possible. So again, mostly, Cascade 220. Flip it around so you can see the last row of it. It's all mostly wool, superwash. I say mostly wool, like if it was a blend. There is some Encore, there's some Barocco Vintage. So yeah, so it ended up being 3x4 squares, 3 wide, 4 across. The plan is for it to be a like a lap couch recliner type blanket. As you know, I'm making my dad one that matches almost perfectly. I mean, I'm not planning out the stripe sequences and all that, but very, very complimentary. I have, of his 12 squares, I have 2 that are completely done. Ends woven in, blocked, completely, totally done. I have, I think, 1 or 2 more that the crocheting is done, but the ends aren't blocked, or the ends aren't woven in and they're not blocked. And then I have another, I don't know, I want to say another maybe 6, maybe, that, this round part is done, but I still have to do the brown border that turns into the square. And then I have another, I think it's 4, that I haven't even started yet. And hopefully I have enough yarn for it, because I'm really hoping that I can just continue on with the yarn I have. So anyhow, I think I'm in decent shape. We've got, looking at the calendar, not quite 2 weeks left. We do exchange with my parents either Christmas Eve or Christmas morning, so I do need to have this done on time. Last year, I've told this story so many times. Last year I made my mom a Nimbus sweater. I modified it a bit so it would be mostly in one piece. I made it a little longer, so because the style is really cut off, which isn't really for anyone but very young women who are extremely slender, which when you're a mom and grandma, that's probably not your typical style. So anyhow, I made it a little bit longer for my mom, and I was knitting, trying to get it done. Christmas Eve, I was staying up late. I had finished one sleeve, had attached it, was fine. Realized that if I did the second one, I wasn't going to get to bed until like 3, 4 in the morning or something just ridiculous. And I wanted to enjoy my holiday and not do that, so I didn't. So I gave my mother the sweater, the one-armed Nimbus sweater for Christmas on Christmas morning. She loved it. She wore her one-armed Nimbus sweater all day on Christmas. Before it was time for us to part ways, I told her I needed her one-armed Nimbus sweater back, and she didn't even want to give it back to me. Because I told her I was going to start the sleeve right away. I wanted to finish it right away. I didn't want this hanging on for forever and ever and ever. So she begrudgingly gave it back to me. And on New Year's Day, I delivered her a full Nimbus sweater. So last year was the year that my mom got a one-armed Nimbus sweater for Christmas. I try. What can I say? So I want to make sure her blanket was done first this year. So on to my adventures in sewing and quilting. I have wanted to learn how to quilt and sew for absolutely forever, and a very kind-hearted soul made it possible. So it's really very cool. So I've started taking classes. I took 3 weeks of classes. I used the Yellow Brick Road pattern and took classes at a small local quilting shop. And I have, this is most of the quilt top. That is done. I still have to do the border. This gives you a really good idea of it. A friend of mine who is a quilter said that all but one of my squares were absolutely perfect. And she said that that probably doesn't mean much to me, but she said for anyone who is a quilter, that's a really good accomplishment. I was pretty excited that I had darn near perfect corners on my very first quilt attempt. So yellow brick road pattern. This is the, I don't know if it's like baby size or crib size or something. It's the smallest, so it's kind of meant to be a sampler. I did it to be like a wall hanging in our bedroom. We've got, our walls are not really this color blue, but kind of similar to it. And then I've got like a lot of this chocolatey brown, like furniture and trim and blankets. And then this green color, I've got blue, green, and brown in the master bath, so the green's pretty close to that too. So now I've been collecting, I'm going to just kind of show you these as I talk. I've been collecting all of these, I call these fat quarters. I started, we went on a little vacation this summer. My son was 1.5, and I started buying these. They're just all different, different cute little prints. Because I wanted to quilt one day, and I wanted for when he was in a twin-size bed to be able to make him a quilt. And so he is, in fact, in a big boy bed, although right now the crib mattress is still in the bed, but close enough. He's almost to a twin size. And he's also asked me to make him a quilt, which I think is pretty cool, since little does he know I had been planning on it anyways. So all those I just showed you are washed. Those are the ones I bought almost a year and a half ago now, just about. So those are, they're not ironed, but they're washed. And then these I just picked up this weekend with the intention that I will be making him this quilt. And I actually showed him these. He was very excited about them. And his room is like red, blue, and green, basically. We have striped curtains from IKEA that have those colors in it. He's got one of those like red race car beds, and yeah, so all the things boys are into, all the different animals and bugs and tools and cars and trucks and, all things that 3-year-old boys love. So my plan is, I think, I've got kind of two running thoughts. One is to make the same yellow brick road quilt, but it would be twin size, so obviously significantly bigger than the baby size one I made. And that requires, I think it's 18 fat quarters. I got 20. And then I'll worry about the border and the backing and all that later. So plenty to do that, and I bought 2 extra in case I mess up in cutting. Or they have different ones that end up kind of being more mismatchy, but they end up being these like big long vertical strips, and I like that idea too because his curtains that I mentioned are vertical stripes, so I just kind of thought that might be cool. It would definitely be easier, much easier. So I guess it kind of depends on how long I want this to take. I need to finish the other one. I need to take a couple more classes to know how to finish it, which I'm going to wait till after the holidays. I also need a walking foot for my sewing machine, whatever that is, before I can take the next class, so I need to get that sorted out. And I hate my sewing machine. I hate it with a passion. It was like $60, $70, Black Friday, Target special. A couple of years ago I picked it up because I want to learn how to sew. Thing just sucks. I mean, I'm constantly fighting with the bobbin, and there was one class, it was just awful. I mean, I spent more time fighting with my sewing machine than I actually did sewing with it. So I really want a different sewing machine. Not necessarily new, but I don't know. We'll see. The like attached to the quilting shop that I was talking about, they sell Berninas, which are like, like $10,000 sewing machines, whatever. That's not happening. But I guess I also sell Genomes, which I guess are also really good, but significantly less expensive. And they were talking about the possibility of, like, if they know that someone's looking for a good used machine, then they will purchase it from someone who's trading up. So that's kind of a possibility. I've also heard that older Singer machines are really good, like from the 70s or 60s. So maybe trying to find one of those. I don't know, kind of thinking right now. So I need to make some decisions with that before I move on to the next step, because I don't want to buy a walking foot for my machine that I can't stand and not really be able to use it for actually quilting, and why put more money into it when I want to get a different one anyways. So thinking that through. So I'm going to wrap up here. It's the end of the second part, episode 7. I hope you guys are doing well on your holiday projects, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.